Hi, my name is Zoe Andyke, and we are here at the Beaver State Fling National Tour presented by Keen Footwear.
I'm Paige Pierce, and we're honored to be doing commentary with the Disc Golf Guy. Thank you for bringing us this FPO coverage. Also, thank you to Disc Baron. Let's go check it out.
So here we are at the back nine, round 2 FPO coverage of the top card. This is hole 10. It's a par 3, 450 feet. No out of bounds, no trouble. The basket itself is actually hidden in the woods, as you can see. A little bit tough to actually get to the pin, but let's see how the ladies attack this.
Yeah, and the real danger is that big pine you see on the right side. So I choose my felon here, not trying to get too much distance, just trying to be in the fairway and go for an approach from there.
Well executed. I think that's actually a really good play, disking down like that. And here's Catrina Allen.
With her D2.
Oh man, just a little quick and early. Annie's off to the right early in the fairway. And Vanessa throwing the trusty pink nuke.
Hyzer flip on the right side, and she's calling for it to go left. And it does, and gets a little skipped. She's going to be in a good position looking right at the basket.
And right here, I'm throwing the Biofusion Defender. I thought I noticed a little bit of headwind, however, put it on a pretty dramatic hyzer angle. Stayed in the fairway though, not too bad. Giving myself a look for the up and down.
Catrina now here with her D1, lining up a sidearm. She's trying to keep it low and fast to get into the green. But a little high and hits that branch.
Yeah.
What are you lining up here?
You know, I've got my trusty Marshall, and the thing is I've got to keep it low. I've got to put it on a more of a power smash kind of hyzer, and it worked out really well for me there. Stayed on the high side.
Vanessa now with her roach. Beautiful release, directly in line with the pin, under the basket.
Everything you want right there. You never want to go past this basket.
This is my classic blend Marshall here.
Trusting the Annie. Perfect sidearm putter approach, really. I mean, that's impressive. Didn't give it too much angle or turn. And that was, even though that was fast, Kat actually threw her shot pretty quickly and kind of got herself snookered a little bit behind this tree, hoping to cash in on a bogey.
Oh, just a tiny bit low, tiny bit
short. And we see Jonny V in the background kind of indicating to all of us that there's a little bit of a backup on the next card. I'm going to go ahead and make my par putt. That felt good. I'm skipping around. I'm happy. I like pars there.
Yeah, you know, this course in general, it's good to just card some pars. We're playing the same pads as the men, and they're quite long par 3s and then some par 4s that are also long for us, so par feels good out here. And
par feels great. I agree with that, Paige. Hole 11 here is a par 3. It's 375 feet. We don't have danger of OB, but what we do have is quite a bit of, you know, we've got a fairway that's demanding. On the left-hand side, you know, nothing but danger. 2 guardian trees right out the tee box, as you can see, that is the whole beginning of the, you know, the hole played. You've got to get out. Now, I noticed you threw a slower speed disc there. Tell me about that.
Yeah, in years past, I was just coming up left, like you said, danger zone over there with that tall pine and all the bushes. And if you get left, you can't really get up and down. So I'm just trying to go putter straight and avoid that.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you. Vanessa here lining up her nuke. She's looking for this to flip into the field so she has a straight look at the basket.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And good call for the 4 there to the awesome spotter that we had. That's Lucy Burke. She's a 14-year-old disc golf player playing at Am Worlds this year. You can hear me say, inside, find that. I let go of that a little early, and it hyzers off.
And now we got Catrina with her D2. She's looking around this corner with this stable driver, but unfortunately lets it go a little early and will be blocked behind that tree. But oh, she actually got a little kick in the front.
Through, yeah.
So she's not gonna have that birdie look she wanted, but she is on the clean side.
And right here, I had about a 1.5 foot gap to get through, so wasn't trying to penetrate to the green, just get myself out clean. Yep. Let's see, this is Vanessa's roach that she is doing the upshot with, trying to get on the green.
Yeah.
And that'll give her a nice putt. So we went Marshall there for Paige, and actually it looks like that's going to give you a putt right next to those trees. Cat trying the high hyzer, but gets caught up by the foliage. It really is a low entry just to get into the green here at this basket. Now normally I'm putting daggers, but I have my flippy classic Deputy that's super old. I need all the help I can get to rise that putter up and stay straight to get to the basket. I remember letting go of that and thinking, oh yeah, but just a little short.
That putter is so great.
Yeah.
It was a great bid. Catrina now for her par. This is close to circle's edge.
And another one of those bands. We've seen Kat hit a few bands today, a few cages. We're hoping she can kind of hone it into the chains.
Vanessa now has to keep it over this bush, but obviously not too high to hit the band. But she's such a solid putter. I don't feel like she even thought about that bush right there.
Not a problem. Not a problem at all. Cleans up and takes away her par. Same for you. Although it's a bogey putt, I'm happy to be right here. I know I'm close enough. Take a second, get myself dialed. I'm gonna take it and move on to the next hole. I'm actually gonna take my teammates' discs to the next hole too.
Thank you for that.
That's all good. Gotta help each other out there. It's a long day of golf when you're playing 36 holes at Milo McIver. These are big holes. We're playing from the same pads as the men. And here we go. It's a par 3 on hole 12, 433 feet. If you practice this hole enough, you know if you are breaking the hole up or if you are trying to drive the green. I know that the players on this card for sure are 50-50. Myself actually breaking it up, but Paige right here, is this a defender that you're trying to drive the green?
Yes, it is. And my thought is make sure you throw something on the right side. That left side is super, it's jail over there. And not only are you not going to get the 2 you were looking for, but you're going to have a hard time getting the 3. So I'm trying to keep it on the right side.
In a similar play to myself, I throw a big hyzer, hoping to bite right there where she hit. It looks like a molehill, and stays out in the fairway for your hopefully routine up and down. When I let go of that hyzer, felt really good. I knew it was going to stick in the middle. I knew I could throw an upshot.
Catrina with the X3. You know, that's one of her go-to distance drivers, so she's going to be going for this one, but puts a little bit too much air under it, and it stalls out left into the woods.
Vanessa here for the approach.
With her rope.
Oh,
The
just a
roach approach.
little early with the roach approach. Lining myself up. Now, as you look at this basket, there's some stone steps that lead up to the basket, and I, being kind of a veteran player here at Milo, know that you want to stay away from those. Land short or land absolutely right or left, and I'm stoked about that upshot. Oh.
With that hit a lot of cabbage on the way out, but she did get to the clear, and she will have a chance at that putt.
Really, really good idea there, Vanessa, taking it wide and getting on the back side of the basket. I felt like that was a great play.
Yeah, and like you touched on those rocks on the mound, I didn't want to contend with. Sometimes you hit the rocks and you get a roll, so just laying it up to the bottom of the mound and going for that 20-footer.
And I think we just saw Kat also, kind of like Vanessa, get to the back side of the basket, looking for that open putt. I just really can't say enough about Vanessa's putting, her rhythm and routine, kind of how she draws back slow. Oh, let me tell you about my putt. I got a mini. I got a really good routine. My mini makes me smile every time so that I can do that. Cash in on some chains. I'm happy, I'm smiling, jogging up to my putt. Love getting that par. This is a tough 3, actually. We might have made it look easy, but I'm happy to card that.
God, Paige.
Yeah, a little frustration there. I was kind of unbalanced on that putt and didn't reset and just rushed it kind of, and chained out left, carding a bogey. And, you know, that's one we're hoping to get back coming up on these final few holes. We got a long one coming.
That's right. After a little walk across the parking lot, it's a par 4. It's hole 13, 700 feet. If you think about that, breaking it in half, it's, 350 feet and 350 feet to get to the pin. And that's a little outside of your basic distance range for most of the FPO field. However, you're going to see how all 4 of these players attack it a little bit differently. I know I put in a bigger run up and kind of hung it out wide. I felt that headwind hyzering into the fairway. It was all right. Definitely not a max D drive like I was hoping for, but anything but left is good.
This is my Ballista Pro, low and turned over. I'm looking for it to be a little bit higher, so it kind of fights that turn I put on it, but like you said, anything but left is good. There actually is OB over there if you get past the bushes, but there's so much room on this one. We're all trying to aim out to the right.
I'd say this is probably the biggest fairway out on the whole property, east and west course. You've got somewhere between 200 and 400 feet of real estate to deal with off the tee pad here. And Cat. Again, there's some headwind out there, kind of keeping him suspended, so I feel like it anteed out a little more than she wanted.
Vanessa with her nuke. She's lining up an Anheuser release here, trying to get as much D as she can, so hopefully she can get a putt at it.
Stays clean from the bush. Her wishes are granted. Oh, comes out of my hands just a little early, but good news here is it stays just short of the bush in the tree, so I feel I have a hyzer approach at it.
Catrina with a great release on this X3. Puts a powerful Anheuser on it, but it still gets a little bit of a fade out at the end, and she's gonna leave herself with like a 90-foot look.
And what disc is this here, Paige, for your second shot?
This is my Felon. I'm aiming wide and high and just letting it drop in just short of the mouth. So I'll have a little putt to deal with still, but no chance of hitting any of those trees.
I pulled out my harp here, hoping to execute a hyzer. In my head, I was thinking, just throw this in. Hyzer's my favorite shot. Came in, sawed it off a little early. I didn't see the ground action from where I was standing. I actually thought I had kind of parked underneath it.
Vanessa with the roach. Little on the right side, but
yeah, she'll be all right
well
there.
inside the circle.
Kat not even messing around with anything. She's realizing she just wants to get up and down, just laying it underneath the basket. Yeah, that's what we're talking about with the birdie. I mean, this is one of those holes, if you're getting the birdie, you're coming up on the field for sure.
And here you are. You can see Zoe's a little bit lower. There's a little ditch back there. Did that factor in at all? Like putting a little bit up at the basket?
You know, it did, and the sun was a little in my eyes, but to be totally honest, I don't feel like I actually appropriately set myself and took the focus that it takes for me to make the putt. I can't say enough about sticking to your rhythm and your routine. You hear us talking there. I set my mini down, which was kind of irregular practice, but I didn't want it to be in the way for Vanessa. And she's like, I almost picked up your mini. No problem. I'm taking my bogey and I'm moving on. Here we have Cat tapping in. Nice and easy. Doesn't even need to take the bag off. And, you know, we're coming into the final stretch of this really long day. It's hole 14, par 3, 422 feet. As you can see, it's downhill, really tight gap to get out of, and then nothing but trouble, trees on the left. And then as you get down to the green, if you were to somehow throw it like 500 feet, you would go deep OB in the river. I personally have never seen that, but left gap out off the tee box is certainly the choice. And what disc did you go ahead and choose here?
This is a hybrid convict. It's a little bit flippier than my lucid convict. I'm putting on a severe hyzer and wanting it to flip late. A little bit high so it gets those branches and just drops it a little bit short.
Still cutting through, kind of giving you that open downhill look.
Mm-hmm. Vanessa here, this is her Avenger SS.
First time?
I believe just an Avenger, not Avenger SS.
Avenger, okay. First time we've seen her throw it though today.
Mm-hmm. She is popping this thing on a hard hyzer and letting it drift over to the right. Look at how beautiful this thing flies.
Wow. That's what we're talking about. Let the disc do the work. Ooh, a little bit of back foot slippage there, but somehow, you know, well thrown, executed, even though it went maybe a little more left than Kat hoped. That right there will be a pretty good look for the either birdie or par. I remember, man, out of my hands, I was so happy about the line. It was just low. I'll be the first one to approach the basket from here. This is my Marshall. I'm just looking to get underneath it and make it an easy cleanup. As you can see, the basket is just framed up perfectly. Arguably the most beautiful, picturesque green on the course, framed up by the basket in the river. I'm stoked about my upshot.
Yeah, I found it interesting how different all four of our tee shots were. The idea, the execution, the disc choice, all of that. You know, Vanessa and I throwing super flippy discs on a hyzer, and you just throwing a straight fairway driver, and then Catrina throwing her most overstable driver.
I know. That's actually, it's incredible when you compare the stats about how we're getting down to the green.
It's a really fun hole to throw.
Kat realizes right away she has no look with that huge tree on the left in front of the basket, so she goes ahead and lays it up under the basket. All right, I'm okay with a par. Feeling pretty good about that. I always say, Paige, never be upset about a par. Sometimes I argue myself on that own point when I miss a birdie, but really, pars are great.
Yeah, totally.
Again, Vanessa's slow rhythm and routine on her putt, really drawing back and knowing that she's gonna just crush it into the basket. It's great. And we're gonna walk away with a bunch of pars there. Coming up to hole 15, it's a par 3, 390 feet. There's two distinct fairways here. Any right-handed backhand thrower is definitely taking the right side, hoping for kind of like a stable skip to get in for a jump putt. Any lefties, you just got to get all the way up to the mouth.
Yeah, barely. Not much at all. Yeah.
Paige and I are talking about.
I'm glad you're throwing this one because you need that full skip.
Yeah.
Just skip into the
Oh, we got a thumbs up.
Okay.
Did we?
Disc choice here. We're gonna want overstable, little hyzer angle, and to aggressively play the shot like Paige and I were talking about, just inside of that big tree. And I thought that that was a perfect drive. It even needed a little more of a hyzer angle though, which I wish I could have coached you as a friend, but you just throw so hard and so far. Great shot though, either way.
Thank you. Here's Vanessa with that nuke. She's put a hyzer on it, but it was pretty strong, so it flipped up to flat. She still got that hyzer finish though, and she's gonna put herself about 80 short, but she's looking right at the basket.
Cat hung it out just a little wide. Got a little bit of that foliage on the right side, but in the fairway.
And Zoe, this is your defender here?
Uh-huh. Biofusion, good old red. Gave me a good skip. I knew I held it wide, or I threw it wide enough that it should be in front of those guardian trees.
Cat here lining up her PA1, just putting an approach putter under the basket. She's not trying to make that.
I knew I had to get down. I had some things in the way. Just trying to get underneath the basket safely here. No need to try to break any more off. Vanessa's in a cool position. She's open, there's a low ceiling, her jump putt is on. Ba-boom. Oh, everybody thought that was gonna go in actually. It was a great bid, great drive.
Good
And
speed,
Paige,
good angle,
I'm
everything.
telling
club
you,
up, so
I thought she already had
breaks
made it.
through. Just, I don't want to punish the trees, but I'm trying to get a par.
And you heard her say it best in the moment. Paige is trying to get a par. She actually discs up. I don't even see a line here. So she threw it as hard as possible. And I believe that was a suspect. And deflects out into the fairway. It's a pretty cool shot, actually.
Kind of banking on that bank shot.
Banking the bank.
Yeah.
Getting it in the bank.
Not something I recommend, but
No.
if you actually don't have a line, maybe throw something faster in hopes that it punches through, or gets a kick. Since it's moving faster, it'll kick farther.
And I appreciate you talking about that too, because we're all left in spots that we might not even have an option. So to pick a faster disc, that's how you can get up and down for a par. And let me see Kat walking over to tap in her par. Nice and easy.
And we're on to, I believe, the shortest hole in the course.
Shortest hole, especially on this side here. Actually, second shortest hole. It's 250 feet, hole 16. It's a par 3. As we fly in, you can see that open, it's a super, super gap that you really want to hit early. There's some later gaps if you were to hyzer in dramatically, but just as the camera flew in, that early gap is the one you want to hit.
I'm throwing my suspect here, hyzered at the tree. The wind kind of drops it down, and I'm outside the gap, but I do have an open look from give or take circle's edge.
Not too bad.
Vanessa here with her vulture. This is her overstable fairway. She's trying to do the same type of shot, I would think. High and dropping in.
To me, that it looks perfect. She doesn't really even know it off the tee pad, but that's exactly the shot I'm trying to pull off and be just short of that wood chip green. The cat pulls it a little wide here, however, still gets in. I can see her behind that kind of secondary fake gap. We'll see what it looks like. I'm throwing a getaway. I'm throwing it on a little hyzer at the bigger tree, hoping to get that big skip in. It does skip in. It's a little bit early, but I think that's enough to give me a putt. And I couldn't quite tell at the minute if I was in or outside of the circle, but I decided to stay on the ground here, give it a little more air, and just hit over the top. Nice. And I noticed you stayed on the ground there too, and you didn't ask any of us if you were in or out. You just decided on your own.
Yeah, I thought it was close to circle's edge, but I also didn't feel like sometimes people think, oh, I'm outside the circle, I should jump putt, but sometimes it's not necessary. You know, if you can create that power without jumping, it's actually easier for timing purposes to not jump.
True to that. And Cat just came a little bit short. Awkward stance through 2 trees. Vanessa closest to the pin. Boom, smash. Give me the 2. I want a card of 2. I mean, that's what I'm always saying.
Yeah,
really.
that's what I heard her say actually right after. It's funny.
That's cool. And I know I need to just clean up. We're getting close to the end of a really long day. Take my time, get my par.
Yeah,
move
at this
on.
point, it's almost like 6:30, almost 7 o'clock, and it's kind of crazy and hard to believe because look at how bright it is still. But we're in part of the longest days of the year. It's sun's rising before 5 and not going down till well after we finish.
That's right. As we see Eric Oakley sprinting towards the basket on this flyover, it's a par 3, 381 feet for hole 17. This is not an easy hole for any of us to drive. However, if we get that max D on the drive, we're gonna get ourselves in position for a birdie. Great finish by Eric on the sprint.
You can see the little sun glares right there. It's kind of reflecting off that puddle and kind of blinding us in a way.
Actually, even off your disc before
Yeah.
you threw and through the whole flight, I could see the sun reflecting. You can see it in the camera glare. And just so you guys know, I mean, you can see Vanessa's body language here. It's hard for a player to focus on their line and their shot when you really can't even see due to glare. So it's just one of those elements. We had a little bit of headwind coming in. I think she's still trusting in her nuke here. Yep, pinky. Leaves it out to the left, giving it a turnover. Keeps it low. She's in the fairway. No problem.
And if you guys have been paying attention, she kind of starts that disc out on a hyzer. Usually that one kind of came out flat, so I'm guessing between that and the headwind, that's kind of why it turned over quickly into the ground there.
And Cat's out there for a good bid. I think there was something going on in the background there. I just had to wait. Usually stuff doesn't bother me, but smash. Trying real hard to overpower my defender. I leave it high. I hit some branches and I drop down early. I've got a low ceiling, so I know I've just got to throw the Marshall and get myself as close to the basket as possible. Last minute in my head, I'm like, give it a semi bid. So I put it up in the air. Oops, little early. No problem still though. I kind of got greedy, and I do remember that. You can always be stress-free if you're not greedy and put it under the basket.
Or you can just practice those 25-footers and not even worry about having greedy upshots, you know?
Yeah, just knowing and trusting in your putt.
Catrina here looking for a 2. That D2 got her way up there onto the green. But a little bit low in Anheuser on that putt. Easy 3 though.
Underneath the basket. Oh, touching top left side. So that wasn't the miss that's been bothering you and then that you've been kicking kind of that left side spit out. You gave it all the chance in the world.
Yeah, a little
Made
bit
the
high,
comeback.
but you know, making the par comebacker center feels good.
An excellent drive, though, I want to say, Paige. Pin high is a pretty big feat for anybody in the FPO division here. Not a lot of us are getting up there for the pin high. I'm stoked on a par.
Vanessa here also for par. And as you guys can see the scoreboard at the bottom, the race for second is getting pretty tight on this card. Vanessa has 2 strokes over Catrina.
Oh.
Make that 1 stroke.
And with that really nice rhythm and routine, that really aggressive putt that she had, the basket actually just couldn't even take the speed.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see because it was such a confident and committed putt. But the race race for second gets a little bit tighter, and Catrina makes one up on Vanessa.
Moving on to hole 18, par 3, 509 feet. I'll say that again, par 3, 509 feet. Whoa. It's kind of a big par 3. I just want to say that off the
I
box,
can't remember the last time I ate
you've
something.
got to be
I
confident
don't
and get
know.
out there.
So I have one too.
We don't really even eat out ever.
No, we don't. We don't. That's the thing. We just cook.
Oh, you know what though? Taco trucks. Anytime I see a taco
truck.
pull
Holly
over.
was saying that there's this
In Estacada.
called Pepe's Tacos.
I think that's what it's called, but
Yeah.
you know,
And
you can
she's
tell.
Like, those
Yeah,
are
but
the
they don't
best.
have al pastor there.
No, they just have carnitas. Yeah. That is weird.
What is al pastor?
Talking
It's,
about some
Pork,
dinner.
But it's like they cook it, they slow cook it with pineapple, and it's like so
Everybody's
Super
hungry.
seasoned.
My mouth's watering.
We're waiting on the next card to
We're not
tap
hungry or
out. We're
anything.
hungry players. We're high-fiving because we're stoked to be finished with the biggest day of golf we ever play for a national tour series ever in the season.
This is my convict. I'm trying to throw it on a hyzer and let it late flip and still get that hyzer back out. I'm not trying to round the corner. I'm just trying to stay close to the corner and get the distance necessary.
And get yourself a beautiful open look. Not often I see FPO players get that far down the fairway again. That was a great shot. Cat throwing the roller. Might have had a little more cut than what she was looking for, but it's still, it rises up and gets to the tall grass, still giving her an open look.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real mistake with that. She's not giving herself the birdie opportunity, but she should have an open look at par.
I was happy that my disc was on enough hyzer to come out of there. I was a little overzealous, maybe hungry to get to the end, and kind of left it out to the right, out of my hands. Trusty nuke, and doing exactly what Vanessa wants. She's center cut, giving herself a good position for the next shot.
This is your deputy. You're going for Anheuser, I'm guessing?
Oh, most definitely. It's the flippiest disc in my bag. I'm kind of timid to give it everything. I don't want to crush it past the basket, and you can tell because it hyzers out. That's almost never does that happen. So about 70 feet away in the bushes.
Vanessa with her understable putter, the Roach. She's looking to kind of correct on that mistake and just finish it with a little bit more Anheuser.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Nice. You're under it. Drop in.
Drop in, just like her friendly competitor Paige Pierce says. That's a nice shot, stress-free finish. Sidearm by Cat from the tall grass, also a stress-free finish. That's really
Rolls
all you
around
want.
the pole.
You gotta love when it ring around a Rosie. Same thing, Paige. Beautiful. I see 3 discs under the basket, and I want to be there. And I'm gonna be. If you can see me looking at the ground here, I'm trying to stay clear of any branches. I'm trying to stay low. I was crouched forever, throwing my flippy deputy, getting myself out of there. Happy to be out. Wishing I could join my friends for the par, but you know, when things happen like that, you just got to clean up, take it, and be stoked about the opportunities you gave yourself in the day. Be stoked about where you are. I'm tapping out my 4. Everyone else is taking a par. This is concluding our final hole on the 2nd round of the Beaver State Fling National Tour. This is Milo McIver West Park. No easy hole. So on the leaderboard, we've got Paige Pierce in the lead, 5 down. Vanessa Van Dyken at 3 over. Jen and Kat are actually tied at 4 over. And Paige Bierkis and Maria Olivia jumping me. I moved down to 7th place. This is not over. The tournament is half done, 1 round a day from here on out. Thank you, Terry Miller, for filming the FPO rounds.
All right, thank you so much, Zoe and Paige, for calling all the shots out here during round number 2. We've got to thank the PDGA, Disc Baron, and Innova, all for supporting the coverage. I got to thank Ben and Johnny V out there hustling around as well. Looking forward to the 3rd round taking place on Saturday. Stay tuned right here with the Disc Golf Guy at the Beaver State Fling.